Guys, welcome back, and let's continue with the next part. So let me share my screen, guys. Then we'll continue. So what is Terraform? We had discussed in my last class already, means yesterday. Okay, but I believe when we go for the hands-on and practical, in a few days, you guys become very much comfortable with all the use cases of the Terraform. And if you have been in doubt when to use Terraform, when to use CloudFormation, when to use Ansible, when not to use what, and what Terraform give you very exclusively, with what other tools or platform or framework don't give you. So in my upcoming classes, because multiple use case and practicals, I'm going to show you guys. You guys become very comfortable, and after some days you will see it is a great tool, no doubt. And for a lot of use cases, Terraform would be the best choice. And right, so I'm not saying for all the use cases, but lots of great use cases, especially in the multi-cloud strategy. One of the concept of multi-cloud strategy with respect to cost management, I had discussed yesterday, but we'll keep on discussing this concept again and again. But I want to focus more on Terraform right now. Okay, so today I would like to guys directly jump to the hands-on. I would like to directly jump to the practical okay, of the Terraform, because this practical, guys, the way I am going to show you today is very important, because almost all the basics terminology of the Terraform will cover in this practical. So I'm going to start the things from very zero, and by this practical you will come to know tons of things and the initial process, how to write a code with the Terraform, right? So today's class is pure practical. So let me start from the very basics. So plan would be something like this. We have a one public cloud that is called AWS, and I want to manage the AWS, and I want to provisioning something AWS. I want to use something on the AWS that is called, guys, services or the resources in AWS. Now it is your choice. You want to use AWS Web UI, you want to use CLI, you want to use API that's provided by AWS, or maybe you can use third-party tool like Terraform. So that's the plan for today. I want to use Terraform, and Terraform is the one who will go and connect to AWS, and after they connect to AWS and ask whatever we want to do there, and they will do whatever we ask by the Terraform. But interesting thing about the Terraform is one of the key of the Terraform is whatever you want to go, guys, do with this AWS cloud or maybe Azure cloud. So in the Terraform, you have to instruct the Terraform. And guys, if you want to instruct somebody in the computer world, we have to normally write a code. I write a code of multiple lines, and these lines we put in one file, and this file is called program file. So we guys create a Terraform file or Terraform program to tell the Terraform what we want. So technically you can think, we as a human being, I want on my behalf, Terraform will do something with the AWS. So we have to tell the Terraform, and how? By writing a program. Using program, we'll instruct the Terraform, and what are instructions we give to the Terraform will go and do something on the AWS. So something like this we are going to do. But interesting thing is, Terraform is not only meant for AWS. I told you yesterday, okay, almost all the cloud available in this world, be public cloud or private cloud, Terraform have a capability to Terraform has a capability to connect to those cloud and do whatever we ask. We as a human being ask Terraform to do all there. Okay, so for the Terraform perspective, these guys are known as a providers. And not only the cloud, without the cloud also, there's a lot of tools available in the market or clusters available in the market where Terraform go and do the things. For example, one of the great examples is one of the great examples is Kubernetes also. But right now, let's focus more on AWS, because intention right now here is to show you how to write the Terraform code. But very quickly, if you want to see that almost all the, if I go to Terraform, this is the official side of the Terraform. So if you want to see all the providers that Terraform support right now, so there's a, in the top, there's an option called registry here. And if you click on the registry, there's an option called browse provider. Right now, they support 1,500 different provider. It's a huge list. You know, it's not a number, guys. One provider is equal to one cloud. So 1,500 is AWS, Google, Alibaba, Digital Oceans, Oracle Cloud, and other platform also they support. So there's a huge list they have, and they are very mature almost in all the providers. So if you click on the browse provider, it is a detailed list come up, and these are the providers they support. Okay, so we'll talk about about these guys much in detail, but right now I'm going to use and connect with a provider called, there's a very famous one obviously is AWS to do it. So this is the provider we are going to use today. So this is an exclusive page for the AWS provider, and if you try to read this page, the simple meaning of this entire page means that I am a Terraform, and if I want to use you as AWS, okay, so I have a support to use this, and for this my company, my team, and my community has created a separate program and this program is exclusively for AWS. Means if Terraform say I want to connect to AWS, okay, I don't know the AWS concepts, their terminology, their services name, their resources name, what is there in AWS. I have no idea the Terraform say, but my company or maybe my open source community has created some program, and by this program I become trained. Trained means I know by this program know how to connect to AWS and how to do something on the AWS. So technically, guys, it is something like this. You can think Terraform is like your Chrome browser or Firefox browser. And if you want, if Firefox will do something extra for you, that is not by the capability of your Firefox or the Chrome browser. What you do normally, you add extra add-ons or normally you add extra plugins. So something like this, guys, it is a plugin oriented framework. So if you want Terraform, you'll go to AWS and do something. So we have plugin available for AWS provider. We have plugin available for Azure provider. So for everybody, we have the plugin, and that's what, guys, this is page is talking about. And there's the URL of that you can find the plugin for the AWS provider for the Terraform. Either you can go and download from here plugin, so Terraform know how to connect with AWS, or a simplest way would be we can write a code will automatically download a plugin for us. So what I mean by this, let me start writing the code from here. But depend, guys, which platform you want to connect, or I can say which provider you want to connect. Every provider has come with a separate plugin for the Terraform. Okay, so let me start from here. So for this, guys, what I'm going to do, I'll go to my Windows command prompt. You can use your Mac and Linux. So wherever you have the Terraform. So let me show you. Yesterday, I show you guys how to install Terraform. So in my case, I have the latest version of the Terraform. And guys, because Terraform, say I will connect to your provider, and whatever you ask me to do, I will do it. But you have to tell me via code. And one of the power of the code is when you write the code, everything will become automatic. So automation we need always, right? So means this entire codes, guys, we have to write, keep writing code. And that easy reason what I'm going to do, I'm going to command prompt. I'll go to some of my folder, and then I'm going to create a separate folder called Terraform training work space. So guys, from today till last day of my program, I am going to put everything in this folder only. And I keep on sharing this folder to you, and you have entire code to you. Okay. And in this folder, I'm going to create one more folder. Let's say this is the basic. Right. So today I'm going to put all the code in this folder. So this is my workspace, and I'm going to create a simple file. You can give any name. I'm going to give a file called first. You can give any extension if you want, but typically because it's a Terraform code, so we normally follow better standard. I'm giving a format called TF. TF means is a Terraform file. It's extension for this. Okay, and I hit enter, new file created. And now guys, here I'm going to write a code because our plan is to use a provider. Which provider? AWS. Okay, so this is a provider to use. Caribou start, Caribou close. What are minimum of this? We'll discuss in a minute. But this is the simplest code I am writing right. So by this code, okay, by this code, I'm telling to the Terraform that I want to do something in AWS. Do you know how to work on AWS, and do you know how to connect to AWS? Right now, Terraform say I don't know. But first time when I run this code, I will auto detect that your name is AWS and you're going to use this provider. So I automatic download a plugin for AWS and install in my local computer. So this is the meaning of this program. So they have to download only first time. They keep it in the local computer. In the future, if you keep on running this code again and again, they don't have to download the AWS plugin for you. But by this plugin, Terraform say now I know how to communicate with the AWS. So anybody who know API or SDK, so somebody has created the SDK for Terraform already. So those who know this term, so you can think in this way. Okay, so this is simplest code. Right now, if I run dir, we have only this file by chance, because this is one small challenge in Notepad. If you get a file in Notepad, normally they add .txt extension. I don't like this. So let me again create this file. Okay. Then again, let me again type this term provider AWS close, and let me save this file with save as, and in the same folder one minute, is inside the Terraform in the basic folder. And if you want to save the file without txt, just save the file with double quotes. They won't add txt because I want my extension should be without txt. So this is the main file. You can delete this file. We don't need this. So this is a file we need. But right now, if you see here, this particular folder have only this file. There's no other folder. There's no plugin. But when you run this file first time, and how to run this file first time, there's a command called Terraform. So technically, we are not running this file. We are asking Terraform that in my current folder, you will find some file with the .tf extension. Okay, and that is one of the reasons why we have to give the extension .tf. So what a file name doesn't matter, but if you find any file with .tf extension, go inside this file. And if you find some provider name, and if you don't have the plugin for this provider, so what to do first time, just initialize this folder or initialize this project, or it simple means automatically go and download a plugin for us. So what they're doing, they initialize the background, they are downloading the plugin for the provider. So they auto detected that the provider is AWS. So downloading some of the URL and they're downloading it. Technically, they are going to this location. So either you can go to this location directly. I think this is a location of GitHub, and manually download and copy here. Or if you don't want to do this, they will do automate for you. So this is a guys command that you run only first time. First time. And now see guys, this green color come up. It means everything is successfully initialized. Technically, they're talking about your plugin has been downloaded in your current folder. Now, if you run the dir command, you will see guys automatically one new directory created with dot. Dot is normally the hidden folder, normally in some of the OS. And if you are interested to see what is there, you can go to this particular directory. If you go dir, you can see there's one folder they created. If you go to provider, you can see there's one more directory they created. If you go to this folder, okay, again, one more directory they created, HashiCorp. Again, in this folder, again, they created one more directory. Okay, and because they maintain in this way, one more directory, come on, multiple directory created. Now, finally, you see this folder file that they downloaded. Because they detected this is the Windows OS, so they downloaded exe file for you. But this is the actual the plugin for AWS. So if we use Azure, they download for Azure. If you use OpenStack private cloud or Kubernetes, they will download the driver for this. Not driver, you can think a driver, but it's like a plugin they download for you. It means now from the Terraform, whatever you do, with the AWS behind the scene, they run this program, and this program is the one who helped Terraform to communicate with the AWS. So you can think Terraform is now become intelligent because of this driver. Now Terraform know everything about AWS. What I mean by everything, that we'll discuss in a minute. So let me go back to my main workspace. Right over here. So this is the one command that you run only first time you run. If you run one more time, there's no meaning the Terraform in it, because that is already downloaded. So they say we have already downloaded, so everything good, nothing to worry much. Okay. Now there's a one step that you do always one. Now why you want why you want why you want this provider. That's the main thing to understand. Okay, why you want this. So before this, guys, I explain you further code. I would like to take you first to the AWS cloud to make you comfortable, especially those who don't know about AWS. Obviously, guys, this is not AWS class. I don't want to talk much, but this is the one of the URL where you can go to AWS. But understand one thing, guys, AWS is a public cloud, and obviously what AWS want, if anybody log into my cloud, they require login and password. So simple, is a pretty simple thing, but why is important, we'll discuss in a minute. So AWS say if anybody want to use me, either they use CLI or web UI or API, I'm secure. You have to first log in with your username and with your password. Even though if Terraform also come to me to do something inside, they have to use login and password. Understand one more thing, guys. Login and password we create for the human being. And human being normally interact with the cloud with the web UI, because technically this is the web UI. So here I have my own company, some username, and let me give my captcha. Okay, and the password. So login and password, guys, is for human. But if you want to connect to any of the platform with the programming world or coding world, maybe in the CLI, maybe in API or Terraform also programming world, their username and password never work. So instead of user, normally we have a key that's called access key. And instead of password, normally we use a key called secret. So use the same access key, secret key, and user and password they use for authenticate or login. But if you want to log into AWS using programming world, you need secret key and access key. So this one small thing, just keep in mind. It is not for AWS, it is for any of the platform, whatever you use. Okay, so it means if you want Terraform do something on my cloud, on AWS cloud, something here, we have to tell to AWS that I'm going to provide you my access key, and I'm going to provide me my secret key. Otherwise, right now, Terraform only know how to which cloud to connect, but they don't know how to connect. So to provide me my access key and secret key over here to this cloud. How to get this access secret key, we'll see in a minute, but this is the one thing we have to provide. Okay. Second thing, guys, anybody who know about the cloud, normally in the cloud, guys, we work per region basis. So right now, guys, I by default landed to Mumbai region, but whatever region you want to work on, every region has a different name. For example, you want to work on Virginia, it's just a name, but every region has an ID. And normally ID, guys, you can get from the document or maybe get from here. Okay, so if you're working on the cloud as a human being, you can very quickly select that I want to work on Mumbai as a region. It works for you. But if you're working as a programming world, maybe in the command line scripts or maybe API or maybe here Terraform, you should be exclusively say here that I want my region should be this one. So you should be right here that my region should be AP South one. Okay, so technically, and that is the reason, guys, we use a curly braces. AWS cloud has their own login and password. Azure cloud has their own login and password. So if you're using provider AWS, so if you're using a provider AWS, so between this curly braces is a block of you have to provide a block of statement here, and you have to define here which region you want to work on, what is your login name, what is your password. And guys, here by chance this what you see in the left is called key, what you see in the right is value, and normally guys you have to put the value in the double quote because Terraform also support data types. We'll talk about data type in the future, but this data type look like a string, so you should be very much clear that you are giving the string here. Okay. So what guys I'm doing graphically, same thing I'm doing over here in the command line to make you sync. Okay. The idea is simple. If you want to automate something, but if you have no idea how to work on the web UI, I feel it's very harder or impossible to work on a programming world. So because if you know AWS cloud with graphically, same thing what you do in the graphically step by step, what you do just step by step, convert everything in the code. Or maybe if you know command line, convert into the command line. Okay, this is one thing. Now, second thing is guys here, if you log into AWS, by default, you will land it to this page. This is the dashboard or the portal of the AWS, and AWS is a big cloud. Okay. And AWS say, I have a lot of services for you. What I can help you and how can I help you? So if you see guys here, there are a lot of services they have. Okay, so if you want to create your own blockchain, so we have AWS managed blockchain. If you want to create your own machine learning, deep learning programming, we have platform called SageMaker. Okay, if you want to set up your own Alexa kind of program, we have a Lex program, right? So multiple services we have. If you want to launch your operating system, we have EC2 services. So which service you want to connect? So let's say my requirement is I want to launch operating system. Okay, or I can say virtual machine, or I can say instance. So I can go and contact to EC2 service. So technically, for the AWS world, okay, name of the service is EC2. If you want to launch instance, or maybe I can say operating system, or maybe I can say virtual machine is the same thing, or maybe sometimes we also use the word called server. So what a term I use is the same meaning. So for AWS, this is the service name, but if you go to Azure or maybe GCP, your service name will be different, but the final use case will be same. By that particular service, we can go and launch your instances. But technically in the AWS, we know this is a service name. This is a service name through which we can go and launch the instances. Okay, launch the instance. But if you talk about this service, actually it's a big service, and inside this service there's a lot of sub services come up. Okay, for example, if you go here, there's a service called volume. It's called EBS. They will give you a hard disk to you. If your service called security group, they give you firewalls to you. There's a service called ELB. They give you load balancer for you. ASD, they give you auto scaling for you. So there's multiple sub services they have. Everybody is doing something for you, depend what you want to do here. But if you have an exclusive requirement, no, I want to launch only the OS, then they have sub service called instance. Okay, so technically, if you talk about this AWS EC2 service, they have a sub service called instances, and this is the service. I can say EC2 instance service is the one who help you to launch the OS. So technically, if you want to launch the OS, the way I also explained you yesterday, you guys know if you want to launch the OS, you need RAM, you need CPU, you need hard disk, you need network, multiple components you need as a physical hardware, and on the top of this you can launch the OS. So this is the sub-service who can provide me everything what I need to launch the OS, or I can say for provisioning the OS. Okay, so for AWS world, in the AWS, we use the word called service, or maybe we can use the word called sub-service. This is a term we use in the AWS world, but the Terraform perspective, okay, this sub-service is known as resource. So Terraform say what resource you want to use, just tell me, I will do for you. Obviously, we know guys what I want. I want storage, I want load balancer, I want networking setup. But here, here the resources would be instance. So in the Terraform world, this concept is called resource. So you should be very clear what resource you want to use. And that is the reason, guys, in the Terraform, we have a keyword called resource. And here you can tell your resource. Okay, let's say resource name will be something like I want to use EC2 service. Under this, we have a resource called instance. Something like this I want to do here. This is not the right name, but randomly I'm giving this name. But because guys, this is the one resource, but what you want to do inside this resource. For example, in the graphical, if you click, this page come up. So I'm inside this resource, and here, what your requirement? You want to see all the OS you have created yet, or you want to search some of the OS. For example, I'm searching for some name, right? All the with HA name come up, or you want to launch a new resource. For example, I click here, launch. So I'm going to launch a new operating system here. Okay. So what is your requirement? What you want to do with this subservice, or in the Terraform world is this resource. So if you want to launch a new one, this is called provisioning. So how you provisioning the new OS or new resources? Okay, so you should know logically, or maybe I can say graphically. For example, you normally come here. Okay, and one more small thing that you guys might know, but let me tell you very quickly. That if you want to install any operating system, right, you need that operating system bootable DVD, or it is called image, that's called OS image. And in AWS world, this image is called AMI. So this one, guys, this can come up. So if you want to launch the OS manually, which OS you want to launch? Amazon, Red Hat, SUSE, Ubuntu, Microsoft. Okay, let's say I want to launch this OS. And by chance, right now I'm launching graphically. I can click select and do it. But if you want to do programmatically, you can't click here, right? You have to write everything in the code. In the code, you have to write something like this. Not this name. This is the user-friendly name. Everything in the AWS, they give you unique ID. So this is the ID of this AMI. So you pick here. Okay, and there's one thing, anybody who know AWS, ID in Mumbai is different, ID in other region is different. So right now I'm in the Mumbai, and that's what I written in my code. I am working on the Mumbai, and in the Mumbai, the ID of my image this one. So let me write here. So I can again write curly braces and say the image ID is this one. So you know what I'm doing here, right? Based on our knowledge of AWS graphically, you guys might don't have, but I will share the videos to you. So you will have that knowledge you will acquire from those videos. But whatever knowledge I have graphically, I keep on collecting those knowledge from the graphical, and I convert those knowledge right into the program. Okay, and then I click next graphically. And those who know about AWS again, or any cloud, because you are launching the OS, what you need RAM, CPU, hard disk, and networking. So typically in the AWS world, this is called instance type. Okay, that's what the screen come up. How many RAM, CPU, hard disk you require, or networking support you require. So typically, guys, this is the name of the instance type. Let me copy this name and type here. You tell that I'm going to use an instance type. My spelling might be wrong. Which one want to use? T2 Nano, small, that according to RAM and CPU come up, but T2 Micro in AWS is free. So let me go for free one, T2 Micro. Okay, so I want to use this particular instance type. So technically, you know what I'm doing, because I know my requirement, I know graphic one, so I keep on collecting the information from here and try to feed here. Maybe my name is wrong, my spelling is wrong, but I'm just collecting those information. Then I'll tell you guys how to convert these information in a right code with proper syntax. Okay, then we normally click next. Guys, here this is a page. We can change a lot of things here, but this is a default setting come up. and I'm not changing anything here. Okay, because I'm not changing anything here, so it means everything is default. So anybody who by chance know AWS, this line say automate my OS will have a default public IP, automate my OS will launch one OS, they will put in this particular VPC, if you guys know. So these are the default setting. So if you don't select anything, this is the way your OS will launch. And because this is default setting, so I don't have to write in my code also, because if I don't type in the code, automatic whatever AWS provide you as a by default, they will launch for you. Okay. Okay, so let me click next. Again, they talk about the storage. Again, they have a 8 GB by default. I don't touch here. I'm not touching and changing here. Again, my command line, I have my code, I don't do write here because I don't want to change something. Okay, again, tag. I'm to give some OS name. Okay, let's say I want to give my OS name. If you want to give, so for example, let's say I want to give my tags, my name of my OS is called let's OS 3. So if you want to change your name, it's your choice. But if you want to change, so graphically we can do in this way, but in the command line, so maybe something like this. I want to change my tag, and my tag, my key and my value. My key here is is name. Okay, so I have to change my tag or my OS name. Let's say OS 4. Something like this. Again, this is not right syntax, but what I'm saying you, the process and approach, as if you understand this approach that I'm going to explain you, I can give the guarantee whatever the complex case, custom case come up, and they ask you to convert your requirement into Terraform code. If you use this approach, nothing will be like complex, right? And nothing here to memorize. Just follow this concept, follow the step that I'm trying to explain here is, and then after we acquire this knowledge, I'll show you how to convert this knowledge into real, right, perfect code. That's in a minute I will explain to you. So let's say this is my requirement. The security group is a firewall in AWS. I'm not again changing anything. So default firewall add. So because I'm not changing anything, so here also I'm not changing anything. Click and launch. And guys, when you launch by default, again, because I've said something here, but by default, guys, they launch without any private key. Means means if you want to log into this OS, you can't log in. So that's what this is a by default setting. Again, I'm going for by default setting. So this is a graphical way of AWS. Anybody who know AWS, this look like so simple, right? But I want to cancel right now here because my plan is not to launch this OS with the with the graphical, but I go through these steps to collect the information, to collect the knowledge, and what are the relevant information I wanted to collect, I already collected. Okay, now this information we have to convert into the Terraform code. How we can convert? It is simple, right? I know I want to use image ID, but I want to create an image or want to use this image, launch a new OS. Okay, I don't know because I'm not a Terraform developer. So how I know what keyword they use? They use image or image ID, underscore image ID, or only ID. I don't. Okay, I don't know. They use type or instance type underscore. I don't know what keyword they use. Or plus, I also don't know the resource name is EC2 instance or EC2 underscore instance or AWS instance. I don't. But I know my requirement. I know my use case. So I collect those information. Then I move to a Terraform code. Right? I move to Terraform code. Okay. Over here where I take you guys already. And here I ask you that you are the provider page of AWS. Do you have any documentation for AWS? I click here, they have by chance. Okay, and they say this is the entire document of AWS, and we are the one who create this document because we are the one who create Terraform. So I know what syntax we follow, what keyword we follow. Okay, there are some examples here, but if you see in the right side, there's an option called authentication part. Okay, because obviously if you want to use a cloud, you have to authenticate. So I don't know this syntax is right or not. So if I click on the authentication part, here they say you if you want to authenticate to cloud, multiple different way we have, but right now there's one way called static credentials, right? And if you go to static credentials, okay, they say this is a syntax we follow. And guys, by chance, I was lucky. I created exactly same syntax. So do not have to remember, guys, this thing. You can also come here, copy and paste and do it. Only check the syntax, your keyword, access key, secret key. Yes, spelling is right. You need to copy your login and password here. How to get it, I'll show you in a minute. But this syntax is almost right. There's no challenge in the keyword and the syntax also. This is perfect. Okay, now second thing is I'm worrying about this particular syntax. So because in the AWS, in one service, tons of resources there. Like if you go to EC2 service, they have instances, keys and firewalls and load balancers. So I don't know what syntax they support, what keyword they have. Okay, guys, by chance, guys, this is called resource type. Keyword is resource. Whatever name you write, by this you will define, tell the Terraform that which resource to connect and which resource to launch. So this is called resource type, and I don't know the resource type name. So what can I do? Either is I search here, okay, or maybe I go down in the left side and search, do you have any name for a service called EC2? Answer yes. They have an EC2 name. I click here. Okay, now you can see resource name come. I show you guys EC2 big service, and they have multiple small sub services. It's called resources here. So do you have any resource for EC2 instances? Okay, so they have a lot of resources. If you guys know about AWS, EAP, all the things. And now it look like this might be resources what exactly I'm looking for. It's called AWS instances, because that's what I am looking for. So they try to give this keyword in such a name that by looking at the name, it look very clear what exactly we're looking for. And now if I click this one, then this name come up. It's good practice. Maybe what I'm looking for is not there, but if you try to read the description, say by this you can go and launch a new instance. That's what exactly I'm looking for. So technically, from by this approach, I can get the name for this one. So I write the wrong name, but I know the right name, but I intentionally just write the wrong name here to show you the approach. That this approach is important rather than we memorize these keywords. Okay, so from here I can get my resource name, what exactly I'm looking for. So technically now actually Terraform come to know that what is my which resources I have to interact with my AWS cloud with this username and password. Okay, now this resource we collected multiple information. Technically these information are known as properties and sometimes also known as attributes. Okay, so if I go to this page, they give you multiple examples also. Something like this as a demo example. So this example is always great. We can copy paste here, but we can go down. We can go down, and here they say these are the arguments we support. Argument means you can use attribute, property, and here they also use the word called argument. So one of argument we support is called AMI. And they give the argument name. It means the actual keyword is not image ID. Actual keyword that I'm looking for, AMI. How I know this name? Because of this document. And one more thing, guys, they write here. This AMI is a key or argument is compulsory, is what required. So if you don't type AMI ID here, and when you run this code, the code will fail because this argument is compulsory to write here. But if you don't want to tell your public IP, that's okay, it's optional. If you don't tell, I will give you a default one, or I might not give you depending upon your further settings, but that is optional. So if you want to type, I will do for you. If you don't type, I will give you default, or maybe I won't give you, but it is optional. Means if you don't write, I won't give any error. So anybody who know about AWS cloud, we can set AZ here, number of CPU, all the things we can do. We'll see multiple example here. But if you go down, what actually I'm looking for, instance type. So does they have any keyword for instance type? Answer is yes. Instance type they have. Again, it's compulsory. What they do, and by chance I was lucky, I will give it the same name what actually keyword they have. So that's also true. So important thing is we collect the information, but what key they support, I don't know. So from this document, I come to know what they support. Let me move to tags. Does it have tags? Answer yes, they have the tags. So that's what I written here. Okay, it's optional also, but if you want to write tags or not, that would be your choice. But main thing about guys, this tag is they tell you this tag is a map. Okay, so guys, I will have a one detailed discussion on the data type. So anybody who know dictionary in any programming language, or hashes in any programming language, or map in any programming language, so they're trying to tell tag is a one key. Okay, one key, but it is not a string. It is not a string. Okay, this tag is a map. So map guys, normally we write in a programming world like this: curly brace start and curly brace close. So anybody who know any programming language, if you know by chance, okay, so by this syntax will tell this key that you are not a string, you are a dictionary. Technically here it is called map. And understand you have a key and your value. And value is normally we write in the double quotes. Or let me write the name called my first Terraform OS. This is the name I am giving it. Okay, so by reading this document, we come to know. Don't worry, guys, about the map. I will have a lot of discussion on data type in my future classes, but they are specified. Or maybe, guys, most of the time, if you click in this tag, sometime right now it's not working, but normally they give you some sample examples also to for their syntax. So most of guys options they have, we keep on touching a lot of options in my future classes. Or if you go for example users also, they give some sample example, and guys, this is exactly same example I have configured. Tags equals to this one, and this was this one. Exactly same kind of example I have configured here. But what is this? This is a very important topic concept. This is called data. So our data is a very important topic. In the upcoming class, I will discuss about this. Okay. Otherwise, same kind of example I have configured here. Okay. So it means if you want to launch one OS, you can write one resource. But if you want to launch one more OS, I can copy this tag again paste. And if you want to launch one more OS, obviously you're planning, maybe you want to use different image. So let's say you want to launch this OS. What is the idea of this image? Just go and copy, paste here and do it. Now, when you run this code, two OS will launch. Okay. Let's say this is the different OS, Red Hat. So one OS they launch from this image, one OS they launch for this image. But right now, guys, we are just launching. But Terraform is not only for creating the resources, they are also a tool to manage those resources. What I mean by this, very powerful concept, we'll discuss in upcoming classes. But if you want, Terraform will manage these resources also in the future. And there, guys, I will discuss about topic called state, desired state, current state. There's a lot of discussion we'll do after some time. So if you want somebody in the future also, after they launch, they will manage something for you. So for this, your Terraform should know something extra about this resource. Technically, I'm trying to tell you here is we have to give every resource a unique tag. So I can say this is my OS1. Okay, and this one I'm giving a unique tag. It's called OS2. It is just a name, but you can think this is like a tag to this resource. Okay, so every resource, guys, you have to give a unique name, but this name has a very much powerful thing, right? This one we use for multiple things in the future. Right now, there's no SS benefit you see today, but it's compulsory to write your tag here. Technically, it's not known tag here. This is a keyword. This is called resource type, and every resource has their own unique name. This is called resource name. So it is compulsory to write the resource name here. But what is the use of this resource name? Maybe not today you will understand this, but maybe tomorrow, next classes, you see this name is very much important. But it's compulsory, even though you see in the examples also, they write some unique name. It would be anything, but some unique name you have to write. So you have example, they write here, web. Okay. So guys, this is a code we have created. Right now, my planning is to launch only one. Let me remove this. I want to launch only one single OS. So my code is perfect. I don't see any error, but maybe I might have some error here. So when I run my code first time, my Terraform will tell that you have some error here, but right now there is no error. But obviously, if I run my code with Terraform, it will fail because I'm asking my Terraform to go to AWS and use this resource to do something. They say I can't because I don't know the login and password. So how to create this login and password? So it's pretty simple. So all the clouds has a service called IAM normally. So guys, if you search here in the top, IAM service in the AWS, where you can go and create username and password. So I'm going here, and I'm going to create one user. Okay, and maybe one more thing I want to do here. There might be possibility you guys are very new in AWS, so I'm just sharing the step-by-step document where I go and create something that's relevant for us. So one minute. And guys, one more thing, everyday basis, guys, I'm creating a separate document. So all the screenshot, all the code, all the diagram, I will one minute, post in this Google Drive. And I believe, guys, this Google Drive link has been shared to you already. So there's a day one. So today is day 2. Or I gave the day name today. Okay. So what you have to do, just go to AWS, search for IAM. I'm pasting this one. And those who don't have AWS account, without AWS account, guys, you won't do any practical. So you go and create AWS account. It's free for 1 year for limited services. So whatever guys service we need in Terraform, almost those services are free. So go and create the account in AWS. And here, this go to user, and I'm going to create a new user here. You can give any name. I'm giving the name called, let's say, user2. And I would like to use this user not to log in with web UI. If you want to log into web UI, you can give login and password. But my plan is to use this user to log in programmatically with the API. Here in my case is SDK, is Terraform, because Terraform work with the SDK. So I click programmatically. When you click programmatically, then only they create an access key and secret key for you. I click next. Here you can give the power to this user, what power the user have, what user they can do in AWS. Right now is not good practice, but right now I'm giving all the power. This for admin power. Or let me give the power called power user power. Okay. It means after this user login, they have all the power. They can use any of my services. It's not good practice, obviously, but right now, to make it very straightforward, I'm doing this. Tag is not important. Review and create. So when you guys create, automatically they create username password. In this case, called access key. So let me copy my access key over here, and let me copy my secret key. Right now, guys, I'm in the live training. Anybody who have my secret key, they can have entire access of my AWS account. So what I'm doing for 30 seconds, I'm moving my screen. Little bit over here, so nobody can see the entire my secret key. And just for a second, I'm stop sharing my screen. I'm just going there only. Click on show button. They give me my secret key, and I'm pasting my secret key over here. And after today's demo, I will also delete this account. Okay, but technically, let me share my screen again. So guys, this is the secret key I copied from there, and let me save my code. So this access key, secret key, I have copied for this one. So now if I run this code, AWS will go and check, does they have plugin for AWS? They already had, because I already run init command. They download the plugin, then they use this login and password to authenticate to the AWS, and by default they landed me to AP South one. You can change in further commands also, but by default they landed to your Mumbai. Okay, it means whatever resources you want to launch, by default you can launch this resource in Mumbai only, but in the resource we can define for this resource I want to use different region, there's a different and because here I asked them to to launch a resource for instance with this settings, so they will do for so it means if I again go to my EC2 service, what you see guys right now, here I have no instance running. Okay, even though if I search here, I don't have any instance running with maybe with the name of Terraform something, nothing is running. Okay, but without coming to this portal, okay, my Terraform will go and contact to AWS and launch the resource here. So let me show you guys, this is the first time we are doing this. So I'm going to my command prompt. Okay, and right now this is the file I already have. Normally it's good practice, not always it's good practice to run the init command again. What init command will do, nothing is special, they only check if you don't have plugin, they will download for you, but in my case I already have, so they won't do anything, they say it's already there. So this is what I want. Now next thing and next command for the Terraform, let me first share this command to you. So next thing on the Terraform is again good practice. Right now guys, you know what you're doing, you have created your code. Okay, you know what this code is doing right now, this code is one of the simplest code, but what this code is doing, this code is going to AWS and creating this resource for you. They're getting some RAM and CPU, launching one OS. So technically they are setting some infrastructure for you, even though very small thing, but they are setting infrastructure for you. And how? With the code that's called infrastructure as a code, there's a main there's a use of the Terraform. Okay, let's can you hold for a second please. Okay, but I know this is a very small resource infrastructure, but it's a big infrastructure, so it's always good practice guys, before you create any infrastructure. Okay, what can you do, you can ask the Terraform that this is the code I have written, and I can say this is my plan of my infrastructure, can you please confirm me about my plan, what plan I have and what you're going to do with my plan. So there's one keyword called plan. So it's very powerful, very interesting command actually. What they do for you, if I hit enter, they'll do a lot of things for you. First, they check your code. If there's no error in the code, then this kind of screen come up and they auto detected that according to a plan, they are going to add one resource. Not destroying anything, we'll discuss about this and change also, but they're going to add one resource. And what they're going to add, if you go up and up and up, right, everywhere you see plus 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 in green, all the things guys they are going to add. So they're saying they're going to add a new instance with this tag name, because this tag name we have given. Okay, and these are the new resource they are going to action and perform, and they're going to create. That's your execution plan based on the code. Okay, and what you see guys here, they say I'm going to add a new AMI. This is the guys AMI name I had given. Exec name come up. I'm going to use this instance type, this one. But because you haven't provided me any availability zone or public IP, so I say known after. Because according to AWS, they say if you don't provide anything, I will go for default setting, and what a default will come up. Obviously, after we apply and launch, then I come to know which AG I will launch, which public IP I will provide to you. But technically, that's okay according to AWS or Terraform. There's okay. They say there's no error if you don't type any public IP. Even though I show you my document also, it's optional field. But it doesn't mean they won't provide you after the launch. They will give automatic to you. That's called default or by default setting. So all the plus means these are the by default setting they provided to you. Okay, only two things I defined because that was compulsory, because obviously how AWS come to know which OS I want to load. So there's a plan come up, and according to plan, only one resource you are going to apply or going to launch. So this is just a plan. Okay, but if you want to implement this, right? Then we have a keyword called apply. Now apply will do multiple things for you. First, they check your code syntax. Then they also run the plan command behind the scene, and then the apply. All the three things, guys, this apply command will do for you. But rather than directly go for apply, first we go for plan command to have see what is happening, some error coming or not, what exactly I'm doing, they are doing the same thing or not. A small code, that's okay, but if a bigger environment, I have to check hundreds of things they will give you here, what they are doing for you. So when you run this apply command, now actually by this command, you are actually executing this code. Okay, now again, the same output come up. They say this is the one thing you're going to add. But if you confirm that what you want to add is actually you want to do, so you can type yes. By yes, you're accepting your approval. Now, guys, you know what? Without going to AWS cloud, in a minute, you will see one OS will come. Let me show you. One click. Now they start sending this code and they start creating this OS. And now if you go here in a minute, you can see one come up, one come up, or maybe if you go here because they are starting or started already. So if you search for TF, you can see here, this OS started. Right. Okay, this OS started, and from here they're also detecting. They say still creating, still creating, still creating, and you can see here they are still creating this resources to you. And as soon this resources is completed, initialized, they come up and they say there's no error come up. You wanted to ask to launch one resource, and I launch one resource for you, and that's all. Right, is running state. If you click on this instance, right, so you can see in the description, because you asked me to use this type, I use exactly this type. Okay, and because you asked me to use this AMI ID, so I use exactly this AMI ID. Apart from this, you haven't asked me anything, so I use my default setting, and according to my default setting, I use default VPC, default subnet, default public IP I have given to. So all things I set as a default, but you can change also by writing the keyword. If you have some specific requirement, write those keyword, I will do for you. If you don't type, I will use as a default setting, and I will perform for you. Okay, but technically what you ask me, I have done for you. So that's the first, guys, code we have written here, and that's what's working very fine. Okay, now interesting thing is, anybody who know any platform, maybe AWS cloud or any platform, can you do same thing same thing with your shell script? So AWS also have their own personal command. We can, without going to this graphical, anybody who know about AWS command, we have an AWS command. By this command, we have options to go and launch something in the in the AWS cloud without going to cloud. Again, look something like this, and we have multiple command we write, put in the file, it's become program, it's called script. So same thing will happen. So my point, guys, here is, if AWS command is provided to you, so why to use Terraform? One of the answer, guys, I already told you, because Terraform is not only for AWS, it is for every cloud. So knowing Terraform only once, learning this tool once, I can control all the cloud. This is one powerful thing, obviously. Okay. Second difference between the commands and the script provided by AWS and in the Terraform is, for example, if you run any AWS command, I say I want to launch and install this OS. This obviously this is not right command, but let's say this is the command AWS provide to you, and you put this command in your script. Okay, you know what the challenge here is? If you run this script once, they launch this OS once. If you run the script again one more time, they launch this OS one more time. Or maybe if you have some kind of same characteristics, they will fail. So technically what I'm talking about, if you do the things with the commands provided by their respective clouds, So what I'm talking about, if you do the automation with the command, because using command normally we create a script skill like a programming file, or maybe with the API, using the API you can write a program like say in the Python. So any of the way, if you try to do it, the challenge in this programming world is they work in a concept called imperative language. Means they say we are not intelligent. Whatever we write in the script, in the program, I will always run this program every time you run my script. So if you run my script once, I run this command. Again run once, I run this command. Again runs once, I run this command. It means 3 times to run, 3 times I run this command, and 3 times this resource will create, or they might conflict, or they might fail, but 3 times I will run all the command, all the code again and again and again. Either it will launch multiple resources, it will invest your resource and time and cost, or they fail, but again they wasted your time. Right now, it's not, guys, it is not all the game of one resource to launch. If you have a bigger infrastructure, tons of resources you want to launch by one script. Okay, so my point, guys, here, what I'm trying to elaborate here is, okay, these scripting world and Python world, they work in a concept called imperative, and they are not intelligent, means they don't have a capability. First go and check before we write the script. First go and check, does this instruction, this command, this program, what this will do for you, it is already there in the cloud or not? If already there, so why to launch again one more time? They don't do this by default as a nature. Maybe you can write some extra kind of conditions and checking, there's a different point, but by default nature of the command scripts and Python code of API, what they do, they keep on doing same thing again and again without using their mind, without using the intelligence. They keep on launching or failing or conflicting, whatever they do, but they keep on doing the thing again and again. This is called imperative language. But as if I show you the Terraform. Okay, let me show you guys with the Terraform. Right now, guys, I am in my laptop, my instance running in the cloud, and this code I want to apply one more time. Okay, beautiful thing about this code is, okay, they again go and check and they say, I see here what you asking me is already there, so I won't do anything. Everything is up to date. So there's no meaning to apply same code again, because what you asking me is already up to date. Okay, so technically it saves a lot of time, money, and other things also, because what happened right now, I'm launching only one single resource. Or there might be, okay, chances I keep on adding this file again and again. Tons of resources we write here, and out, let's say 1,000 resources I write here, and out of 1,990 resources already there in the code. Because you change something in the code, you have to obviously apply this code. And apply this code, and Terraform do one thing again, they create everything from the scratch, or they conflict, or they fail. That's not good, guys. It takes a lot of time, energy, and other things also. So how Terraform say, I am a pretty intelligent language. Okay, and how I work, I will first, before I apply this, I will check this resources is there or not. If it's there, I don't touch, I will go to next resource, next. I will only apply those resources that is not yet been configured, or there might be some changes on those resources. Okay, so it works in this way. Okay, so technically, if you talk about Terraform, so they work in a concept called declarative language. So Terraform say, I'm an intelligent language, just go and declare me what you want to do. Okay, so what I'll do, I will use intelligence. So before I implement this, this is called declarative language. I'm declaring to the Terraform that this is my requirement. Go there. If you don't find any OS with this name, with this image and instance type, then go and launch it. But if you find, don't do this. So you can think you as a human being is the manager, Terraform is your team member. and you as a manager, you're giving an instruction or declaration to your member and say, go and do this. And obviously, guys, human being, that team member is intelligent. They say, I've seen this thing already there, so there's no need to do. Or they say, I see this thing is not there, so I will apply this. So something like this, guys, this is called declarative approach. Okay, and this concept, by chance, if you whatever you're looking for is there, I don't apply, and whatever you're looking for is not there, I will implement this for you. That this nature is called idempotence. So this concept is called idempotence nature. So normally, almost all the declarative language in the market, they work with the concept called idempotence. It means I don't waste the time and resources. If thing is there, I don't apply. If thing is not there, I will apply. Again, anybody who know Ansible, they also work with the concept for declarative language, idempotence, but use case of Ansible is different, or Puppet is different. They work for the configuration management. Here we are working for infrastructure as a code. But logic wise or approach wise, both are same. So if you go for shell scripting Python, they are purely embedded language. They keep on doing same thing again and again. But if you go for this kind of language or tool, they say we are declarative language and we work with a concept called idempotence. Okay, even though if you run the plan again and say we have a code, what's your plan? They say we'll try to find, and my infrastructure is up to date. There's no change, nothing to worry about. So everything is up to date. There's the whole slide. Okay, but let me do a small change here. Okay, it's very interesting demo. What I'm going to do, I'm doing very small change. Instead of OS, I'm writing 1 to okay, just change money. It means I change something in my resource, or I say I'm changing something in my declaration. Now what I'll do, if I run my plan again, okay, they will detect, and what they detect, what you are looking for is not there in the AWS command cloud. So I detected, guys, here I'm not going to add new things, but there's one change. Even though, guys, they tell you in detail that you are looking for some change in place. And I detected that that initially your name was this one, but now you want to change your name. So this is so interesting. So, they have this power. So they say, I have this power and I can help you to change. So now how to change? Obviously, you have to apply. But before I do this, guys, I again go to my AWS cloud. Right now, the name is this one, OS1. Okay. If you want to change the name in AWS, you just go here and change. Is so simple, right? So without coming here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do from command line. Okay, so they go there and apply, and without going to AWS, they are sorry. I have to type yes. So I say yes, and they say I will do some changes, or technique is called modify. And because I'm not adding new thing, what you want is there, but you ask me to change something, so I will change something for you. And if you refresh, you can see your name has been changed. Okay, this one thing. Now, one more interesting demo, guys, I want to show you. Definitely like this demo, very powerful. Anybody who know about AWS? So my question, guys, to you, very simple question. Right now, this instance is running with a T2 micro. Okay, can you change this instance type from T2 micro to T2 small or something like that? Can you change in AWS cloud? So guys, if you know AWS cloud, answer is yes. And to show you how to change in the action, if you go to instance setting, there's also, guys, here to change instance type. So anybody who know about AWS, this is the option we have. Okay, but if you see, guys, right now, this particular option over here is grayed out. Right? We don't have any option to change this option, but it's grayed out. I can click and do. Why I can do? Because if you have AWS knowledge, if you want to change your instance time, is your RAM and CPU total requirement, you have to first shut down your OS. After shutdown, then you come to action, then this option come up, and after this option come up, you can change your instance type. So those who have knowledge of AWS, they might know this, but let's say even though most of the time I see those who know AWS knowledge, they also might don't know this option. They can read from document, they can do it, there's a different point, but they don't do this. They don't have this knowledge. But the good thing about Terraform is Terraform say, I know this. You don't have to worry about, just instruct me, declare me what you want to do. So I say, I want to change my instance type to small. That's all. Now you don't have to know about the process and steps. So first shut down this guy, go here, change, then again start. So you don't have to worry about this process. You just tell Terraform that now this is my declaration. Okay. Or I want to give one more term here. One more term here. So the term is, this is a very commonly used term in this world. The term is, I want to tell my my AWS that now this is my declaration. Okay, 1 minute. This is my declaration, and this is what I want. So I want my this OS to be have this type. So this is my desire, and I want my OS to be in this state. That this concept is called desired state. Okay, and what AWS will do, they will go and check the current state. This is called micro. Okay, this concept is called current state. AWS say what you looking for, what is there. If they are not same, for example, right now again I have to make it micro. So what I wanted here and what actually exists here, both are same. And because both are same, and if you try to run your plan or maybe apply, they say what you looking for, what they have, they are same. So there is no change. There's current state and desired state same. There is no change. But if I change something in my resource, or maybe I add new resource, is what you're looking for desire and what current state you have is different. So in this case, plan change, or because plan change, now if I run this, they will detect that your plan has been changed. And what they say, something has been changed. Previously you had this one, now I know you want to move this one. So they are pretty smart and they know how to choose. But understand one thing, this tool is so smart. Last time they know, if they want to change the name, I can directly go and change it. I don't have to restart those. But here guys, if you want to change the type, this is the constraint from AWS, you have to shut down. Okay, but you don't have to know this. Okay, Terraform say, I know this, you should tell me, I will do for you. So technically what I mean by this, now if I run the apply command, you don't have to worry about what the steps in the process of AWS. When you run the apply command, Terraform will go, and because they know without shutting down the OS, you can't change it. So internally, when I run this, what you will see, they are modifying. And technically, if you see here, because they know your requirement is to do something, now they're stopping. Because without showing, you can't change the type. So it's not the issue of the Terraform, all right? It is from the AWS. So, but technically, Terraform no. The steps to achieve what you want, you have desired. They're still modifying. So they're stopping this OS. Now again, they stop this OS. Now they stop this OS. Internally, they're modifying this guy. This year they're modifying this guy, and you see in a minute, I see it so interesting, it's been changed. Very powerful practical guys, if you try to understand. Now they're pending, they're launching the same OS. Okay, and with the T2 small. And they're still waiting here till the time OS start. now they started. Okay, they started. Okay, and they say what you want is change. So technically there's a power guys of the Terraform. But if you want to do same thing with shell scripting, with the command, with Python, you should know this step. You should know first shut down this OS, then they have the respect commands and options, change it, again start it. Okay, so you have to apply all those steps, then you get automation. So you can get the automation there, right? You can get the automation there, but if you don't know those small internal things, without this you can't write the commands. But Terraform say I abstract, I I hide all the nitty-gritty core internal thing. Just focus on what you want. Tell me your requirement, because I am a declarative language. Tell me the requirement, what you want to achieve, I will do for you. So that is the power of the Terraform. And it's not only for AWS cloud, it's for multi-cloud. So maybe if you want to change the instant time in GCP or Azure, their step will be different. But here, the way we are going to write a code will be in the same syntax. Or maybe in GCP, they don't support this, for example. So Terraform will give you directly error. Let's say by chance this OS doesn't support this. So because OS doesn't support, so your obviously Terraform kind of tool can't do anything, right? So there's the idea. So guys, today guys, I explained lots of concept and a lot of vocabulary, desired state, current state, imperative language, declarative language, and some more commands of Terraform. But this concept, guys, we keep on touching. Lots of new, more vocabulary keep on coming. I will share this code to you and try this code after creating your account and do the things, right? So that's all, guys, for today. Very interesting topic, very powerful topic. Any question, guys, if you have till now, you guys can ask. Harsha, syntax is this one. So in the Terraform, this is a syntax. The way I explained to you, your resource, keyword, resource type, some name, use of this name we'll discuss. The curly braces, then what are the keyword there? So this is pretty straightforward syntax. And then we write key value pair with equal to. So there's a pretty simple syntax of the Terraform, but we'll talk more about the syntax in upcoming class. Can we ask for approval by Jenkins? Yes, Gaurav, we can do it. You can also implement Terraform code with Jenkins if you was with me in Jenkins class. So there's a plugin. I might talk about Terraform. Install the plugin and provide this code over there. And Jenkins also have an option, guys, for approval. I show you there. So so you can ask the Jenkins, they will approve. Then they run the job or pipeline, and this code will be launched there. So I highly suggest, guys, anybody who knows Jenkins, first practice this manually, then try to do the same thing with Jenkins so you become more comfortable how we work in the real world. Yes, Rahul, Terraform also have a registry. So in my upcoming class, I will talk what is the use of the registry, and the module will talk about this. Raj and other guys, I'll try to ask my team soon. They share a recorded class. So just wait for some time, but I don't think so. For today's class, as such, there is no everything I explain you again technically today. But don't worry, we will share the recorded class of my for the cloud topics. Mukul, we will discuss on about delete, resource, or destroy. So in my tomorrow class, we will talk more about destroy and other things. Yes, you can integrate with CI/CD, and this is the right use case. Typically, use Jenkins to integrate with this guy. Yes, we can, Sridhar, we can also decrease the resources. So tomorrow when I go for destroy, we'll talk about, I think that's what you're asking, Sridhar, here, decrease means. Yes, Muhammad, you can download your DO vanity books as a PDF from portal, but you can't share it because this book, if you see, it will tagged with your name, right? So don't share it. It's not official allowed, but yeah, you can download for your use case. Okay. Yes, we have a discussion, Mohammed, about a refresh. Maybe tomorrow topic I will talk about refresh. So when one use case, very powerful, interesting topic, we'll discuss. Namrata, we have a discussion on modules of Terraform. We'll discuss about module. Then I will talk more about. Today is just the first class. So we have a discussion on module in upcoming class. Yes, Weber, we can do use Kubernetes plugin also in Terraform. I'll try to touch, guys, and show this demo. Even though it's not part of this program, but I'll definitely try to touch and show you how to use Kubernetes plugin in the Terraform. So that's all, guys, for today, and see you tomorrow with some more interesting discussion on Terraform, guys. Good day, take care, bye.